Alright, we're back taking out hammerheads again. So, my last video I was a little bit sick, but I'm feeling a lot better, so this video hopefully will be better. But today we're just taking out a hammerhead, and we are using the M50, which, if you don't know, has two size 2 weapons. I just got repeaters on there, like typical. And as usual, we're going to go ahead and take out the rear shield. For some reason, that shield seems significantly easier to take out. And for hammerheads, I really like the lag pip because, as you'll see later on in this video, it's a lot. It's a lot easier to aim at like a specific point on the hammerhead that you really need to hit because so I guess from my understanding, I've done a little bit more research on this since the last time I took out a hammerhead and made a video on it. But the very back part of the hammerhead is it's like considered non-essential, basically. And so when you fully take that out, it doesn't destroy the hammerhead. But then all the damage you do to that just transfers to the centerpiece, which is essential. So there's basically three big parts of the hammerhead. There's the rear of it, there's the middle, and there's the head. The head and the middle are both essential. So if you take either one of those out, you blow up the hammerhead. But the rear, if you completely take that out, it just transfers all the damage from the rear to the middle of it. So you basically have to take out two major sections if you just take out the rear. But if you aim, if you can see like right before this top central turret, if you aim right behind that, you after you take out the rear shield, you can hit the center of it. And so you'll see on my targeting computer, it's lighting up, like the center will light up sometimes. That's doing the actual damage to the ship that will eventually blow it up. But anyway, it actually went a lot faster than I thought it would, especially with the 2 size 2. I think part of this is because you have such high capacitors on the ship that you can just keep them firing for a long time, and with how maneuverable the ship is, you're really able to stay on target fairly easy. And you really don't ever have to worry about the hammerhead hitting you at all in this ship. Super small, really small profile, extremely hard to hit. And so it just misses all of its shots. You keep all power and weapons just to keep them charging all the time. Never have to worry about getting hit. And you have 68 shots with the repeater, which just gives you a ton of sustained damage on the hammerhead itself. That something like the Gladius has a lot more, I guess, burst damage, because you with 3 size 3s on the Gladius, you have 31 shots if you got full power into weapons, which is good in most cases because like smaller ships, you're not able just to keep pinned down and always be shooting it. So the higher DPS with fewer shots makes more sense. But in this case, with the M50, with its maneuverability and how big the hammerhead is and how slow it is, you're just able to keep the damage on target the whole time. So this ends up being a fairly easy and relatively quick kill. Something I might test out in the future is doing 2 different kills with the Gladius and doing it with with the size 3s on the Gladius and size 2s to see if that gives enough extra damage, or if it gives enough extra shots on the capacitors with the Gladius to end up making a difference. Obviously, it won't be super scientific. Just I'll probably do it 2 or 3 times and see if it's consistently better or about the same or worse or whatever. I think Urkel is working on something to factor in capacitors and how long your DPS is and stuff like that. I haven't really looked into it too far. Maybe I'll check that out for the next video. But yeah, it does seem like having just that higher capacitor count on the hammerhead does make a significant difference for taking it out fairly quickly. I have really been enjoying flying the M50 recently, though. Like for NPC bounties, it's a ton of fun because you just have that high amount of capacitors, so you can, and with its maneuverability, you can just really stay behind them and just feel like you're pounding away with your guns. And like the time to kill isn't as good as something like the Gladius or Arrow, but I have been enjoying using it a lot. The only kind of thing that's weird about it is like for atmospheric bounties, this thing does not fly as well in the atmosphere as the Gladius or the Arrow does. So using it in either one of those situations, or when you get a mix of like space bounties and atmospheric bounties, like there are some kind of, it's a little bit rough in atmosphere, but honestly it's not too bad. But at the same time, this being a racing ship, I don't think it really makes sense to have two shields on it and two guns and missiles. Like, if you look at like hardcore racing, like F1, those guys don't even like, they'll shorten their shoelaces to the absolute shortest they can be and still work just to save weight. And so having two size 1 shields just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. So I think it'd be interesting if they kind of made this more of a racer, maybe better in atmosphere with, you know, maybe no weapons or anything like that, and then made like a military variant that was more like this. That would be pretty cool. But at the same time, it's a video game, so I don't know if that would make sense in the context of a video game to do, but it kind of doesn't make sense that a racer's this good at combat just because of capacitors or whatever. Or maybe it'll be less good in the future when they kind of start rebalancing capacitors. But as of right now, I've been really enjoying flying it a lot. Towards the end of this, NPC, some Hurston security, shows up and helps me finish off the Hammerhead. And he actually, I thought I was going to die because I got that thing where you have to stop and wait for him to scan you. And the Hammerhead was like coming towards me. Luckily, he was pretty far away, but he had me stop and scanned me. Fortunately, it was over before the Hammerhead made it there and was able to blow me up. But I was a little bit scared there for a little bit. Anyway, thank you for watching.